Hello, we want to welcome you today for attending our virtual career fair in collaboration with the Department of Student Affairs and the City of Memphis. We are here to make sure you have great career post-secondary opportunities, and this collaboration will give you a behind-the-scenes look of daily operations with the Memphis Police Department as well as the Memphis Fire Department. We want to continue to work with civic engagement as well as our partnership to give you the best opportunity possible for your next step in your career achievement. Why are we doing this? Because you are the most important product that we have here in Shelby County Schools, and the Department of Student Affairs is where we hear students and we also are here for students. So as you enjoy your virtual career fair today, please make sure that you're attentive, you ask questions, and you're very engaged into our virtual career fair. If you're looking for more opportunities from the Department of Student Affairs, you can look for us on the Shelby County School website under Student Affairs, as well as follow us on Instagram at SCS_Student Affairs. Again, my name is Dr. Billy J. Walker II, Director of the Department of Student Affairs for Shelby County Schools. We thank you for your time today, and we look forward to you having a great virtual career fair.
So, welcome to the very first virtual field trip, the Pathways to Public Safety virtual field trip partnering with Shelby County Schools. I'm so excited to have you here. I am Alexis Guyton. I am a recruiter with the Blue Path program here at the City of Memphis, and I have with me
Also, Adrian Arnold.
all right, and we are going to be going over several pathways, several career opportunities within the Memphis Police Department as well as the Memphis Fire Department, including our Air Patrol, Harbor Patrol, Mountain Patrol, and then we're going to hear from our very own Officer Arnold about what it's like to be one of the best in blue, a Memphis police officer. So tune in, drop your questions in the chat. We're going to be monitoring that. There's going to be a time for questions and answers as well. So let us know what you're thinking, and let's get started.
My name is Max Howard. I'm a lieutenant with the Memphis Police Department. I've been with the department for the last 19 years, and the last 4 of which have been here at the Memphis Police Department Air Support Unit. We have 11 people in the unit. We have a major, 3 lieutenants, a sergeant, 5 patrolmen, and a full-time mechanic. 9 of us act as full-time line pilots. All of us fly on calls with the exception of our major and our mechanic. We work 2 shifts, 16 hours a day. We have a day shift and an evening shift. We're 365 days a year. Our fleet consists of 3 helicopters. We have 2 Bell 206B3s, and we have the one behind me right now, which is the A-Star 350B3. What we'll do is we are primarily a support unit for the uniformed patrol officers on the street and the other specialized units of the Memphis Police Department. Our mission is to support them in any capacity that they need us to do. So we'll respond to a variety of calls. We respond to burglary calls, robbery calls, vehicle pursuits, missing persons, missing children, missing elderly. We respond to Amber Alerts. We're also in the air during any major event in which there's going to be a large crowd. That way we can observe any activity in the event of a, let's say, an active shooter or a terrorist type attack, and we can coordinate from the air and give that information to the command post, and they can coordinate the resources they need on the ground. Last year, we flew a total of about 900 hours. We answered 462 calls for service. We were a part of, assisted in, or a primary part of 52 arrests. The Memphis Police Department's Air Support Unit is also a regional resource. We will assist other municipalities in the area on any type of calls that they have. So we've responded to 35 calls from 10 different agencies in the metro area. We've also assisted the U.S. Coast Guard along the river in their search and rescue missions, and we've also assisted the U.S. Secret Service on dignitary protection when there is a high-profile person that comes into town. We are usually on every motorcade, and what we do is we fly ahead and we kind of scout the area and look for any hazards that may come into play. And again, we'll relay all that information to our command posts so they know what's going on. So what we are is basically eyes in the sky, and we help in any way we can. We either utilize our eyes when we're on a call, or we'll utilize the equipment we have in the helicopter, such as our cameras. The Memphis Police Department's Air Support Unit is a force multiplier. We are the best in blue.
My name is Officer Mike Duffy. I've been with the Memphis Police Department for almost 31 years, and I've been assigned to Harbor Patrol for 8 of those years. Currently, we have 2 full-time officers assigned to the Harbor Patrol. And in the summer, starting May 1st for Memphis and May, we have 2 temporary assigned officers who are assigned to us until September to assist us with the hours and the calls that we get. The Memphis Police Department has a boat in the water 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and myself and my partner are on call out 24/7. The Harbor Patrol works with the Coast Guard, the PWRA, Shelby County, Homeland Security, keeping the bridges safe, checking for any suspicious activity in, around, or under the bridges. We actually handle boaters in distress. We have folks that jump off the bridge. We have folks that jump off barges that actually fall off boats. We have boats that break down in the river, and we have to go out and tow them in, and we've saved a lot of lives. The Memphis Police Department Harbor Patrol responds to approximately 75 to 100 calls per year, probably 600 to 700 specials, whereas we go out and check bridges, check the banks. It makes you feel good that you're helping somebody that needs help, especially the ones that have hit something and are taking on water, that have young children on a boat. It's a great feeling to be able to save somebody's life. Recently, the Memphis Police Department obtained a moose boat, which is a 38-foot catamaran that we share it with the Memphis Fire Department. The boat itself came from San Francisco, was built specifically for Memphis Police and Memphis Fire Departments. Twin diesel, jet driven, has a 2-foot draft, which means it only takes up 2 feet of water. There's not many places that it can't go. It has a fire department spray nozzle to put out fire that actually sprays 2,000 gallons a minute that actually comes from the river. So no matter how long that you're spraying water, it'll keep spraying until the boat runs out of gas. We have had brush fires along the banks of the Mississippi. We've had boats on fire, about anything you can think of that has to do with a fire that where the firemen conventionally can't get to, we can. We are the best in blue.
and I'm a part of Mounted Patrol Division, which is the part of Special Ops. We are 6 squads as far as in this bar. There's 1 sergeant, 5 patrolmen, we have a lieutenant and a major. What we do is basically we're called out to battle situations, parades, neighborhood watch organizations, when they have their parades, whether it's to do that. We do utilize when there is a crowd situation that we want to go more quickly. We have a strict management associated with problems. Usually downtown, in the same district, next district, Brazil, anywhere that we're called, we go. We have patrolled neighborhoods as far as apartment complexes by crime areas. So if there's a problem with someone breaking a car, they will utilize us to get out there and just patrol the area. A lot of times we use the word for attention as far as if there's a crowd that's going on, we really have to assist the other officers on the ground. It's just we're from a line, we're from all the right inside of us, and we're just going to manage this. Like what they are going to that are bigger so that we can see over the crowd. We do everything at the bar. There is no outside source to come in here. We do all the cleaning, we do all the coaching of the horses, we do all the training of the horses. If a horse is sick, guess what? We're the first line. We take care of that. It's not always clean, but it's the first line. I mean, you get some satisfaction for what you're doing. You become close to the horses, you become close to the guys who work there. This is one of the closest units out there that you can belong to. You either got to love it or hate it. I mean, to live a 1,200-pound animal, that is what I love it.
All right. So you just saw our Memphis Police Department Air Patrol, Harbor Patrol, and the Mounted Patrol. So Officer Arnold, what did we just watch? Could you walk us through just what those departments look like, what those units look like, Air Patrol, Harbor, and Mounted?
Okay, with each one of those units, they're unique in their own special way. Of course, we deal with water, air, and land. So each one of those specialized units specifically deals with a specialized quality, whether it be one of the elements. Air, as our aviation unit does, land, which is Mounted Patrol, or Harbor Patrol, which is water. So each one of them has, when you combine them together, it makes us a well-rounded police department. Many other police departments don't have their own specialized units like that, so that's why one reason why we're unique within itself. But also you have the opportunity to move around, train, learn different things you might not have ever thought you can learn, but you can get to experience it right here in Memphis, Tennessee. Got you.
So how does one go from being, a patrolman to being in one of these specialized units? What does that mobility look like inside of MPD?
The mobility, it's a couple of things that goes with that. One of our processes is seniority. So the officers who have been on the longest typically have the advantage of possibly going to one of these specialized units first, but also we do use training, your background. So if you do have some training in one of these specialized areas, that does have an advantage. So if you've been on longer and you don't have any experience or training in it, sometimes it might get you kicked to the side for a younger officer who does have that experience. Let's just say a young officer with 10 years come in and already has his private pilot's license or a pilot's license, and we have somebody that's been on the job 20 years. Well, of course, they're going to take the one who actually has the pilot's license. Same way, experience with horses. Officers who tend to have experience with horses normally might have a better advantage because you're going through the school. You might have a better advantage because you know how to react, how the horse will react, or what to do, what not to do. Same way as harbor. If you've been boating, if you have a boat, own a boat, your parents or one of your relatives own a boat, if you have experience on the water, that does help out compared to seniority sometimes. So it just has its advantages.
Okay. So me being on Beale Street and seeing the horse and then going into the Memphis Police Department is totally different than me being, you know, actual equestrian. Like, that does not qualify me if I'm down on Beale Street.
No, it
A
doesn't.
lot to see. I just have to actually have that experience tangibly.
Yes, but one thing I will say is they do give you opportunity if you don't have the experience. Just so happened I was able to participate in going through one of the schools, which I have horses myself. So even though it's a little different, so I did have to learn the organized technique of going through a school and riding compared to just hand free riding. You know, so it's a difference, but at the end of the day, like Sergeant Hint said, it's very fun, it's very rewarding. You gotta love it.
Love it. Cool. Well, thank you so much for sharing that.
No problem.
And
Thank
again,
you.
guys, these videos are on our website. If you go to our career site, and then also we have some contact information for, you know, myself and Officer Arnold, who is also one of our recruiters here at the City of Memphis for police recruits. So do you want to go ahead and tell us about how they can become a part of it? We're going to go to our Blue Path informational. So the Blue Path is just a career pathway with the advanced audio to make sure we got it. There we go.
Yeah, that's mine. That's not your Black Magic.
That's this, right? Like you're looking for us, or are you looking for the actual video?
Go ahead. Go ahead and start with the presentation.
Alrighty. So here we are. We're gonna go to our Blue Path. If you could click onto the. Alrighty. So here we are. Again, guys, the presentation, do not let that fool you. We're still on the field trip. Okay, guys, so 4 questions. What is the Blue Path program? Why did I choose to take it? How do I join the Blue Path? And then what are the minimum requirements? So what is the Blue Path program? I think you have to stay there. So what is a Blue Path program? It's a career pathway with the Memphis Police Department. Okay, what it offers is $33,529 a year as a PST. The PSC is just a police service technician. Those are the guys, you know, in the white cars, the white traffic cars with the yellow lights and those brown uniforms. And that $33,000 roughly translates to about $16 an hour. And you can start this program as soon as you graduate high school. So it's only for high school seniors. So those of you who are watching who are high school seniors, we're talking to you. For those of you who might be sophomores or juniors still, you know, kind of tune in and stay in touch with us. We're going to have a text number. You can actually text to get in contact with me so we can keep you inside of this in the loop. So a free criminal justice degree at Southwest Tennessee Community College. You get free tuition, which is amazing, especially in this climate. And then eventually at the age of 21 and the completion of 54 credit hours, you will transition into the academy as one of the best in blue, as a police recruit. So just breaking down the salary a little bit more, again, at the age of 18, you'll be making $16 an hour. So when I was in high school, I was making, $7.35 at the Captain D's on Perkins. I used to go after school every day, making $7.35. So there's no way that I thought I would be making, $16, $12. What about you? How much were you making in the high school or when you graduated?
Like $5.25.
$5.25, $7.35. So literally nothing close to $16. We got some. This is around what adults are making here in Memphis. So this is awesome. The police recruit, you still get paid in the academy. Unlike a lot of other police departments, you do not get paid in a lot of these police departments, but Memphis Police Department does pay their recruits. It's a paramilitary style, so you go there and at the end of the day, you go home. And then you have that 1-year probation at $21.50, and then it just keeps going up as you continue. And we just saw the Air Patrol, the Harbor Patrol, the Mountain Patrol, all of those different units pay differently. And there's also an incentive for you to get your bachelor's degree with a 7.5 increase in any of these that you see here. So moving on to our, how do we join the Blue Path? Well, why do we join the Blue Path? So right now what we're going to be looking at is a video. And that video is going to be featuring some of our PSTs, some of which have already transitioned into the academy. So take a look.
So a PST is a police service technician, and what we do is we handle traffic accidents, we handle abandoned vehicle calls, we write short citations. We also do traffic control, whether when the lights are out, or at a football game, basketball game, concerts, parades, everything in general.
My name is Raven Smith and I am a police service technician. I wanted to become a PST because it was a stepping stone in my career to becoming a police officer and also an opportunity to further my education. What I like most about being a PST is that we interact with the public and we serve as mentors in the community and we assist with traffic crashes and we do traffic control as well.
I have an uncle that's in law enforcement, but I also wanted to do this to, give back to my community and to just, be a part of something bigger than myself.
I didn't want to have a job where I was just going to be in the office all day or be something that's just plain. I wanted to be in my community, serving my community. I wanted to learn more about being a police officer.
I feel that this is giving me a good life. I feel that, yes, my parents have accepted it. They know it's going to be dangerous at times. You really need to look down the road on what you would like to be in law enforcement.
Some of the perks of being a PST are you get your college tuition paid for by the city, which is a huge help in any job. So you get paid to do something that you love. You get paid to be with people every day. And you also get to go to school and get a degree out of it, which is amazing.
So we just saw a little bit about our police service technicians, what that's like, a day in the life of what it's like to be a part of the Blue Path program. Some of those people, like PST Anthony, he has actually graduated from the academy, correct?
Yes.
So right now we're going to be going over how do I join the Blue Path. My favorite part. So how do I join the Blue Path? Some of those people in those videos were sitting in seats just like you all, in high school, listening to, us talk about the Blue Path program. And as I said before, they were part of the Blue Path, became PSCs, and now graduated into the academy. So the first thing that they did and the first thing you need to do is go to joinmpd.com. All right. And so once you go to joinmpd.com, it's going to be an application. And once you complete that application, I'm going to be reaching out to you personally to help you schedule your battery of tests at the Memphis Police Training Academy. And what that looks like is a 1.5-mile run in 17 minutes and 38 seconds, a physical agility test in 2 minutes and 40 seconds, and a written exam. And that's the second step. Now, the third step, you're going to receive a contingent job offer after you do that battery of tests, okay? And then once you receive that contingent job offer, it's contingent upon you passing all of these screenings here. So your medical, your background, your psychological written, and your psychological interview. And then after you successfully pass all of that, you get a final job offer, and congratulations, you are officially on your way to becoming one of the best in blue. So moving on to the minimum requirements, so we talked about what it is, how do I join, what it looks like to be a PST. Now we're going to be talking about the minimum requirements. So you must be free of felony convictions and drug use, no pending court cases, no more than 4 or more moving citations within a 12-month period within the last 3 years. A current high school senior on track to graduate in May, which is you guys, some of you guys. And then you must be 18 years of age before May 31st. And you also must have a valid driver's license before the Blue Path start date, which is June 21st, 2021. You must be a U.S. citizen and a resident of Shelby County. At the time of your application, you do not have to be a resident, but within 6 months of hire, you do have to transition into Shelby County. And then hopefully you guys have submitted the Tennessee Promise application for their free scholarship by November 1st. And then last but not least, a GPA of 2.0. So that's it. Guys, that's really it. So we talked about, the Air Patrol, the Harbor Patrol, the Mountain Patrol, and then, of course, how to become a part of the Memphis Police Department so you can become a part of any of that. Right now, we're going to go to the chat, and we want to hear from you guys, okay? So we want to hear from you all, and before we do that, before we swing by that chat, we're going to talk to Officer Anna. Could you walk us through your career as one of the best in blue, how you got started? Are you a Memphis native?
Yes, I am.
You are? So where
Yes,
did you go to high school?
I graduated from Middle College High School.
Middle College. So
Yes.
what inspired you to join the Best in Blue?
Well, there's many things. I always want to give back to my city. I take pride in what I do. I love helping others. So I just felt like it was the necessary path for me to take. I felt like I was placed on this path. I was picked or chosen for this walk in this brotherhood. And I've been doing it for approximately 15 years, and I love it.
Gotcha. Cool. So what do you do currently?
Currently, I am one of the recruiters, the police recruiters with the city of Memphis for the Memphis Police Department.
Okay. Could you talk to us a little bit about, transitioning into that role and what that's been like?
Well, I transitioned directly out of high school. I went straight to the military, got out the military. I was a firefighter. I became a paramedic EMT for a while. I wanted to do the firefighting thing, but I just needed a calling. So I always want to give back. I always want to do, and I consider myself a servant of other people since I've served in the military. I've done firefighting and paramedic before. So now I was like, well, let me just continue it, but I got excited or I got interested in forensics. So that was one of my things. You hear about people getting shot or you see people crash, accidents, things like that. Some things happen, but I wanted to get the inner working of it. So I wanted like the CSI side of it. So I got interested in it. And I know one easy way to do it was to law enforcement. And I was like, well, that's still me giving back to my community, something I love doing. So I just said, well, you know what? Let me try the police department. And it's been my walk ever since.
Gotcha. So you said a lot of words there that I like. You said community. You said serving. And I know one of the mottos is, of course, protect and serve. So could you talk to us a little bit about what it's actually like being a police officer? Because for a lot of us, and before I came here, all I knew is that you sat on the expressway clocking me for my speed, making sure that I'm not going too fast, and, pulling me over for my, past expired tags are not expired now. So got that fixed. But, that's what I know. You come to crime scene. So what is it that you actually do that we probably don't know?
There are many roles. Officers, we have approximately 2,300 officers. So all of them have different roles. Each officer has their own particular role. Some will be working accidents. Some will be conducting crime scenes. Some will be actually doing reports. Some will be doing traffic enforcement. And I think in regards to what your situation was there, you probably ran into a couple officers that were doing traffic enforcement. So everybody has a role to do. Some would do special events, things like that. We also have a group called Cops who go around. They do a lot of different community programs with the community and children in the neighborhoods. We just have a plethora of different specialized units, approximately over 75 different specialized units that you can transition to where you can see where your comfort level is. If you want to work with the community, you can do that. If you want to work with schools, you can do that. If you just want to work traffic details, you can do that. So we have a plethora of things you can do according to experience, or if you want to try something new, I suggest that you join, because this is one place that you will always have opportunity. Opportunity never cease to exist here. So if there's one chapter you want to close, there's always another book or another chapter ready for you to open.
Gotcha. Wow, look at that. It's so poetic. Oh, God, I love that. So right now we're going to be talking just a little bit about the, so for me, right, when you talked about all these different roles, it thinks like I'm an HR major, right? And you're here in HR with us at the city of Memphis doing the police recruiting. And I know we have some people in IT who are also police officers. So what are the minimum requirements for a police officer? How does one become that? And, you know, can I take my IT degree and, you know, become one of the best in blue, or do I have to go back and get a criminal justice degree? Like, how does that work for the police recruits?
Okay, to be a police recruit, there are several requirements that we have. One, you have to have either 2 years of consecutive military experience on active duty military, or you have to have 5 years of National Guard or reserve duties, which that means is you don't have to go on active duty and do 2 consecutive years where you actually go through boot camp and things like that, and where you're actually working for the military for 2 years, but you could just be a reservist. You could do your 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year for 5 years. That's one of the that's what we call our military requirement. If you don't want to do the military requirement, then you can always do college requirement, is what we were speaking on just a second ago. College requirement is 54 credit hours with a C+ or better, and we do any regional school, and we only do certain national schools. So what it means is, if you go somewhere to like Remington, we have a special program with Remington. Remington, we will accept your criminal justice degree with Remington. But if you go to University of Memphis, Southwest, Jackson State University, Tennessee State University, any of those regionally accredited schools, we will accept any degree, or we will accept any credits up to 54 or above.
Gotcha. So if I'm a high school senior, you know, looking, and then a year from now I don't take advantage of the Blue Path program, and I have some credit, some work experience, and I call you, am I eligible, or is there something else I could do?
Some people think you can combine them, but you have to separate the two. And our third and last one is you can either 5 years of verifiable full-time work employment. So if you are 23 years of age is the minimum you have to be, because Department of Labor says you can only work a full-time job once you're 18 and above. I know some may be in high school working full-time hours, but technically, according to the law, we can only count your full-time employment at the age of 18. So if you are at least 23 years of age and you have 5 years of full-time work experience out there in the work field, we'll also accept that too, just in case someone who doesn't feel like they're fit for school or not real good academically, or someone who feels like, well, I'm not good for the military, or I choose the option of not going to the military. That is a third option as well.
Gotcha. So, but you have to be at least 21 years of age.
Correct. You have to be 21 years of age by the time you graduate the academy. That's our policy. Got you.
So if you're, you know, a high school senior or a sophomore or junior, your best route into, you know, becoming one of the best in blue, joining any of those units will be this Blue Path program.
Correct.
So right now, guys, if you are tuning in, Blue Path to 484848. And what's going to happen is you're going to text that number. Okay, so get your phones out, text 484848. That's the number, and text Blue Path to that number. Okay, and then what you're going to do is you're going to get an interest form. Okay. Now, when you get that interest form, it's going to send you a link to that application. It's also going to email it to you as well. You're going to have my information along with our other recruiter, Tyler Stegall, as well. And on the Join MPD site, you have my contact information. A lot of people don't know, or could you fact check this for us? Could we do ride-alongs with the could citizens do ride-alongs?
All you have to do is just make sure what we do. We do have forms for ride-alongs. Once you do a ride-along, we will do a background check, and we'll make sure everything's good to go. And once you have been approved from the director, then we will allow you to go to one of our precincts, police precincts, and they'll team you up with an officer, and you can do a ride-along for half a shift or a whole shift.
Okay, so for those who, you know, kind of want to get a better look, I think that's a great opportunity. So go ahead and text Blue Path to 484848. Get that interest form. We're going to be setting up some of that stuff so you can ride along with great officers like Officer Arnold here. Thank you so much for joining us.
No problem.
And we're going to watch we're going to transition. We already talked about the Memphis Police Department. As you know, it's the Pathways to Public Safety, which also include our Memphis Fire Department. So right now we're going to watch a video doing a virtual tour of our Memphis Fire Department. So check that out, guys.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome to Memphis, Tennessee, home of the world's greatest barbecue, the Blues, and Memphis Fire Department. We're in Fraser at Station 26. My name's Kevin, and I know that a lot of you are stuck at home, unable to go on field trips, so we thought maybe we'd bring the field trip to you. So we're gonna show you around the station, show you our equipment, and how we live day to day. Come on in. We're gonna head into the day room. This is where we spend a lot of our time. As you can see, there's a bunch of chairs in here, computers for us to study on, for us to keep up on any changes to our protocols, whether they're medical or fireside. Here's Moss hanging out at the watch desk, taking care of business.
How you doing?
Answering phones, making sure that if someone comes to the door, that they're taken care of. On the wall here, we have something interesting. This is our wall map. Now we have all sorts of technology in our equipment to tell us where to go and how to get there, but sometimes the easiest and most reliable thing is just good old paper. Over here, we had a question from Robbie. He asked from DC, do we have a big screen TV? Robbie, yes, we do. It's a gigantic TV, and even me, with my long arms, I can't hug it no matter how much I try. I'd like to hug it because we love this TV. So, these TVs, we purchase them on our own. A lot of people ask that. Does the city give us TVs? No, they don't. We pay for the cable, we pay for the internet and the TV because this is our home. 1/3 of the year, we live here. Another question was asked, do we have a dog? And the answer is yes, actually we do. Unfortunately, today Rizzo's not here. Rizzo works with one of our other firefighters named Stephanie. Stephanie's her handler, and Rizzo's specially trained to be a therapy dog for us. A lot of what we do can be a little scary, a little tough to deal with sometimes. So Rizzo's here to make sure that we feel okay. She's specially trained to help us if we're having a hard time, and we love having her here. Today Rizzo is somewhere else though, working with another crew, along with Stephanie, making sure that the whole department is treated well. Next, we're gonna head on into the kitchen, and we'll show you where we make all of our meals. So here we are in the kitchen. These guys playing a competitive game as usual. There's always something going on competitive in the station since we live with each other. And here we are, Moss is with the most important piece of equipment in the entire station, the coffee machine. If that breaks down, we're all in trouble. Thanks, Moss. So over here you'll see we have a bunch of refrigerators. And that's because we have 3 shifts that work here. Each day, there are 10 people that come in on each shift. So we work for 24 hours, then tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., 10 more people come in. And so with that many people working through here, we have to have enough space to store all of our food. Over here, we have Moss getting ready for dinner tonight. Looks like we got burgers on deck.
Making burgers. It's gonna be amazing.
Perfect. Moss is one of the best cooks on the job, I can guarantee you that. So we got a question all the way from Australia about what do firefighters eat for lunch? And the answer to that is anything Moss makes, I'll eat. Now, for our shift, each shift is different, each crew is different, but we eat together lunch or breakfast and dinner. Lunch, we kind of make our own stuff because it tends to be when we're a little busier. But this morning, Moss made us some pancakes, scrambled eggs, and bacon, so we were a little spoiled on that. Next, we're going to take you on back and show you our locker room and bed hall where we sleep. So here's a little hallway where we have a lot of important stuff as well. This is our turnout room. Now, when we fight fires, a lot of times our gear gets really, really wet from sweat, from all the water from the hoses, and we have to clean them off afterwards. So we want to make sure that they're dry. So this room has a really strong heater in it, and we can leave our gear hanging, and it can dry out before our next shift. This room is where we have all of our emergency medical supplies. So we have the ambulance, we have our engine, and we have our truck. All of them have all of us who are medically trained. So the majority of what we do is medical calls. And this room is where we restock all that equipment so we don't have to take it from somewhere else. We can come back, get more gloves, more IV bags, Band-Aids, braces, whatever we need, it's all in that room. So come on back and I'll show you in here. So this is our locker room. This is where we keep all of our personal stuff. Each one of us is assigned a locker, and mine's all the way down at the end down there. Oh, hey Moss.
Hey, how you guys doing?
We want to have our toiletries, changes of clothes, we store our bedding in there, anything personal we might need for the 24 hours while we're here. This is also where we can get ready, brush our teeth, shave, use the restroom. Showers are back there. And then right through that door behind me is our bed hall. Now this is our bed hall. A couple people asked some questions about, do we get to sleep? Where do we sleep? How long do we get to sleep? Now, yes, we do get to sleep sometimes. Where do we sleep is in here. It's kind of like a big slumber party for everyone. We all have a little cube that we get to sleep in if we're not running a call. A lot of nights though, you don't get a whole lot of sleep, but that's all right. We get to go home the next day and be with our families. So this next bed right here is where I sleep. So as you can see, nothing super fancy, but it does the job. You get a little bit of time in here to rest up before the next call.
Hey, what you guys doing?
Hey, Moss.
You doing all right?
Yeah, how are you? So what you might not notice is there's a little trick that's incorporated with these rooms. We always want to be able to reply as fast as possible and respond to whatever call there is. So you can see, even though I have long legs, even from my bed, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'm out on the apparatus floor. So 7 steps, and I'm out here ready to respond. So next what we're gonna do is we'll show you our equipment, we'll show you our apparatus, and give you a little more fun glimpse at what we do. So we also got a question about where we store our gear. When we're not on duty, we each have our own locker that we can store everything in. It's open air because, again, sometimes it gets wet, gets a little stinky, and it just needs to dry and air out. So we lock it up in here, and it's ready for us when we come in the next day. Another thing that we do is, or another question that came to me was, do we have any special apparatus or equipment here? We do have the ambulance, we have the truck, and we have the engine. The special piece of equipment we have here is this. It's not fire engine red, it's lawnmower orange. So that's our special piece of equipment. And we like to stay in shape because our job is physically demanding. Here we have Chris and Moss and Ron all working out. What are you guys doing today? 100 bench press, 2,000 push-ups. So it's a light day for you fellas, huh?
Just a light day.
Just a light day. All right. Well, we got to stay in shape to make sure that we're ready to react and go to work anytime. Next, we'll take you out and we'll show you some of our equipment and show you our gear. The first piece of equipment that I wanted to show you was our SCBA. It stands for Self-Contained Breathing Apparatus. You might also hear it called an air pack. I'm going to turn it on for you. This is what we wear when we go into fires. It allows us to breathe 45 minutes of fresh air. A lot of people have asked, is that oxygen? And no, it's just normal air. The normal air we breathe is about 21% oxygen, so we don't want pure oxygen, number one, because it's dangerous in a fire, and this is a lot easier to compress. So what I want to do is show you some of the cool things that this can do. Normally what I'll do, and we'll show you a little later, is we have our mask on and all of our other protective equipment, but these are brand new, and they show some really cool things. As you can see on here, it'll show you how much air we have left. That's the amount of pressure that we have in there. So I have a manual gauge, as well as the digital gauge. So the next thing I'm going to do is show you something really cool that's built into these. This can turn into a thermal imaging camera. So we'll use the thermal imager. It'll help us see through the dark, through the smoke, and through the fire to help find people, find fire, and whatever else we might be looking for. So let's go in and see if it works. Whoop, looks like we found someone down there. Hey fellas, how's it going?
Hey.
Hey.
What's going on? Y'all doing all right?
Doing great. It's Moss again. So now let's head back out and we'll show you some more of our equipment. Next we're going to show you all of our turnout gear. This is the gear that we wear into fires. Chris is going to help me out as we go through it. So first thing I want to show you is our boots and our pants. Now, everything we do, we want to do as fast as possible so we can get to the emergency. And to do so, part of what we have is some special boots. These look like regular boots, right? But we have a quick way to get out of them and not fumble with the laces. Secret zipper on the side, down, and they're done. Next one, same thing. It's a lot faster than having to untie everything. It might look like our boots and pants are connected. They're not. So we just push them down like this so it's really easy to put them on quickly. So Chris is going to put his jacket on, but what I wanted to show you first is we got a question about, is our gear heavy and is it hot? And yes, it is both, but not nearly as hot as the fire. So to keep us safe, there's multiple layers of these coats. This outer layer helps protect us from some of the moisture from the water, protects us from some of the heat, but not much. This inner layer is a thermal layer that'll help create a barrier between us, all the heat, smoke, and fire. We have a lot of different little pockets in here where we can keep things that we might need when we're on the fire. Our radio pocket. This pocket I carry some webbing to help with all sorts of things. It also has our gloves connected to it. So you see Chris has his coat on, his pants on, he's putting on his SCBA. Wanted to make sure that we got a shot of the ambulance before they left. Won't be able to show you the inside because they've got to go on a call. So he's ready to go into a fire. These masks are fitted to us each year. We want to make sure that we've got a tight seal all the way around our face so that we can breathe through the regulator when we're in the fire. You might notice that some firefighters have a mustache, but you won't see firefighters with a beard. That's because if you have a beard, you won't get a good seal around there. A mustache won't go to the edges, and it's facial hair that you can have and still get a good seal. Chris put his hood up, which will help protect the back of his head, his neck, and his ears, anywhere that's not protected by the mask. And he gets his helmet on now. And his last step would be to turn on his SCBA to make sure that there's air in there. And then he's able to click in. And now he's breathing air from the back of the air pack. Now, there's also another thing. It'd be hard to hear Chris if he had all this equipment on we were trying to talk. So what they did is they built in a little speaker for us that now if Chris says hello to everyone, hey everybody, you can hear him. You can hear his voice and we can communicate clearly through there and not just get a muffled, garbled mess. So next what we'll do is we'll head on out and show you some of the big equipment, the big toys, and what they do and all the parts of them. So this is what we call an engine or the pumper. There's a difference between these. A lot of people will call this a fire truck, but what the truck is the next piece that we'll show you. The engine is what carries the water and carries all of the hose. As you can see, there's some hose stuffed in here. This is what we use to fight house fires most of the time. These are two pre-connected hose lines of 200 feet. Inside of here, there's 750 gallons of water. That's not all the water we're going to need to use, but that's enough to buy us some time until we're hooked up to a fire hydrant. As you see, we have some ladders on here, but we have much bigger ones on the truck. Around the back, you can see where a lot more of the hose is stored. This is our big 5-inch hose. This is what we use to connect to a fire hydrant that'll keep feeding into the pump and letting us use more water beyond that 750 gallons. We have different sizes of hose that can be used for all sorts of different things. If you come around, we also have all sorts of medical equipment in here. We have tools to get into buildings, axes, all of that inside. This is our pump panel. Now, we got asked what things you're learning in school now that could help you on this job. And there's a lot of things. One of them is communication. Learn to speak properly. Learn to communicate with your friends and coworkers. This is math. There is a ton of math involved in being able to run a fire engine and pump water. We want to make sure we have the right amount of pressure, the right amount of gallons per minute, the right flow coming in and going out. And being able to read all of these is really important. You'll also need to learn how to write. After everything we do, we have to write a report. Whether you're a big boss or the lowest man on the totem pole, you're always recording things. Next, we'll take you over and we'll show you the truck and all its tools and what it can do.
Go.
Okay, now this is the truck. It's different than the pump because what the truck is essentially it's a giant rolling toolbox. It's filled with all sorts of things to do a bunch of different jobs. This doesn't even have water or hose on it, but it has other tools that we use for firefighting. If we walk down, we can show you some of them. In this compartment, you see we've got some saws. We use these saws for all sorts of different things, but we use them mostly for cutting holes in roofs that help let some of the smoke, heat, and gases out, so the firefighters inside, off the pump, it's a little cooler, a little easier for them to see, a little easier for them to operate. These can also be used to cut through locks, to cut through doors that we might have a hard time getting through in an emergency. This compartment's loaded with all sorts of hand tools, shovels and axes and halligans, everything we might need in a bunch of different situations. Down here, we have a fan. This is a really big ram fan. And what we use this for is to get smoke out of a building. When a fire's done, we're not done with our work. And what we want to do is use this to push as much smoke as possible out so that we can continue to go and make sure that the fire hasn't gone anywhere else. We'll come around to the other side here and we'll show you some of our tools that many people talk about. This one is ladders. Obviously the truck is loaded with ladders. We have a bunch of different sizes, different types, things that can be used on all different parts of buildings and everywhere else. Around the front here, we have what might be known to some of you as the jaws of life. We use these for auto extrication mostly. What they do is they have spreaders, cutters, rams, things that will really help us get into a car, get people out, make sure that we can access things. Sometimes cars get crumpled up and it's hard to open up the doors. So what these will do is they'll help us open them, help us get people out safely. This is one example of it. Now this one's a little different. This one's actually battery powered. So you see the power it has spreading. It can pinch, it can cut, and believe it or not, this thing, even though it doesn't look like much, will cut a car apart. We have bigger versions on here that have big power units, more hydraulic based, bigger equipment. So if we need a little more oomph, we've got that on the truck. The next thing we'll do here is we'll raise our ladder and we'll show you just what it looks like when it's fully extended. We had a question about how big the ladder is. This ladder is 100 feet long. We also got asked how much the truck weighs. The truck weighs roughly 58,000 pounds, which is a lot of weight. So what we'll do next is we'll have Randon and Ron set up the ladder and show you just how high it can go. So Randon and Ron, what they're doing is they're grabbing ladder belts right now. What those are for is to help keep them safe when they're operating up on the ladder. You can already see what we have on the truck are outriggers. Those help spread out and they help stabilize the truck because when we start raising the ladder, it's going to become really uneven. For a lot of different things. One of them is rescue. If you see someone out a window and they're stuck and maybe there's a fire around them, we can quickly raise it and keep that ladder to a really high point so they can come out. Another thing we can use it for is for us to gain entry into the building. We can again shoot through a window or a rooftop and get up there higher than where our ladders are in the back. Even though we don't carry water in here or a hose, this can put out a lot of water. We can get almost 1,000 gallons a minute out of that ladder that's there in front. fear of heights as a firefighter, but it's definitely something that you can get over. We train a lot, make sure that we're always working on our weaknesses. If you're afraid of heights, the more you try it, the better you'll get. As you can see, that ladder is pretty high. So, I'm climbing. We'll have them come on back down. We'll just give you a little goodbye for your field trip here at Station 26. Alright, well thank you so much for coming by today. I know that it's a little weird right now and kind of hard, and I'm sorry you guys aren't able to be at school with your friends, going on fun things like field trips. We thought maybe showing you around what we do here would give you a little break, have you a little bit of fun. I also wanted to let you know that we got a lot of questions from all over the world. Germany, Australia, all over the United States, England, Holland, all over, Ecuador as well. I know that today you only saw men in this station. Normally though, we have 2 women who work here as well. This isn't just a job for boys, not at all. Thank you guys for coming by. Hopefully we'll see you again soon. Next time you're in Memphis, stop by and say hello.
All right, so we just saw a virtual tour of one of our very own fire stations here in Memphis, Tennessee. Could you walk us through kind of, you know, like what we just saw, what it's like? First of all, I'm so sorry. I'm Alexis Guyton again, Blue Path Recruiter, and I have with me firefighter paramedic Zachar. Hi, welcome.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, let us walk us through that virtual tour.
Yeah, the virtual tour that you just saw was by a firefighter that actually moved here from San Diego to be a part of the Memphis Fire Department. That was our fire station number 26 over in Fraser. And he had gotten a lot of requests from during the pandemic and not being able to take an actual tour of what does he do at work from kids in the neighborhood and from other schools, and like he said at the end of the video, from all over the not only the country but the world. So he opened up their fire station, was able to dive into it and show everybody how a firefighter not only works but where we live for that part of our time, because we do stay there for 24 hours at a time, and we have to cook and clean and maintain that home. And so he opened it up, and Kevin did a great job on showing the world of what it looks like inside of a Memphis fire station.
Gotcha, and I'm personally impressed by the video. It's one of my favorite videos. An awesome walkthrough, kind of what it looks like, the day in the life. You had some funny moments in there from some of our very own firefighters. So for those who are wanting to join that path, you know, we just opened up, or we just started a Fire Cadet program. I know that you've been a very, very instrumental part in getting that going.
Correct.
So let's talk about that.
Correct. One of the things that we wanted to do was to pique the interest of high schoolers throughout our community here in Memphis and throughout Shelby County. And one of the things we've run across is a lot of folks don't understand exactly how the Memphis Fire Department works, or how to even become a part of it, or what is the requirements that it takes. Mm-hmm. One of the things that we've implemented several years ago was that all of our new hires will have to become a paramedic. And a lot of people don't understand the difference between an EMT and a paramedic, and what does that look like. And also we wanted to be able to educate not only the children that are going to school and getting ready to figure out what they're going to do for their next level of education or a career, but it was also to talk to guidance counselors and let them know that if you are looking to work in a medical field, that you can come to the Memphis Fire Department by way of going to Southwest Tennessee Community College, going to EMT school, and then going to paramedic school, and then being able to come and work for the Memphis Fire Department, because 89% of our call volume is medicine. It's not fighting fire. And so we want to get that word out there that if you're interested in working in medicine, in the medical field, that this is a great opportunity, and that you'll also be able to have a great career with upper mobility. You'll be able to advance that career over a period of time, and be able to provide for your family and meet those retirement goals that we're all trying to get to at the end of the day.
Love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so keywords: work, career. Is this a job? The Fire Cadet program? Like, what is this? An internship? Do I get paid? What are the minimum requirements? Like, how do I?
All right. So what we did is when we decided to go with the cadet program, we wanted it to be a paid internship. So the cadet will apply and they will go through a physical agility test and a written exam. You have to be 18 years old and a graduate from high school. Then if you get selected and we hire you on, you will work part-time, 24 hours a week, and you'll do different things around the fire department. We have it's a very large fire department. We have where you could work in logistics or you could work out at training and all different departments that you could be used in your part-time capacity. Meanwhile, we're going to send you to EMT school. We are going to pay you part-time, and then we're going to make sure that you're getting your education in order for you to have a career on the Memphis Fire Department. Once you get through with EMT school, then you have to go to advanced EMT school. Once you get out of advanced EMT school, we have a single role EMS where we have people that just ride the ambulance that don't do firefighting, and then they can be put into those spots while they're waiting for the Fire Academy to have their next class, and then we will transition those cadets into becoming firefighters. And then within a 4-year period, they'll become a firefighter paramedic. And you go from high school to $16 an hour to making $62,225 a year as a firefighter paramedic.
Got you. And then at what point, what age am I going to be?
So at age 18 is when you can become a cadet. For folks that are over 18 or out of high school, you can be 19 years old, and as long as you have a high school diploma or a GED, you can apply for the Memphis Fire Department.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so what are you currently doing? Are you out there fighting fires? Where are you?
No, so as of right now, they've got me down at headquarters, and I do the majority of the recruiting for the Memphis Fire Department. In the capacity, we have another program called a lateral program for firefighters that work in other places that want to come to Memphis. And so I help with that. I go to the job fairs, I go to the schools, and then help develop this program for cadets. And that's kind of what my job role is right now. But I am assigned to a company out in the field, Engine 23B. It's out off of Jackson Avenue in Bayless over in the Nutbush area. And so from time to time I do pick up overtime and still keep my skills up. But my daytime job is down here at headquarters and talking to folks about coming to Memphis.
Got you. So before you were, a recruiter and instructor, like what did your life look like as a firefighter?
Okay. Well, one of the things that we tell anybody that's looking at coming to the Memphis Fire Department is that you have to be passionate and team-oriented. And the reason why you have to be passionate about it, because you work for 24 hours and you're away from your home. You actually stay 10 days a month with a group of people that you've been put together inside of one of these engine houses, and you have to build that teamwork. And it goes from everything from doing the stuff around the engine house to working a fire or being on a medical call. So you have to have that. A lot of folks, they don't realize that you got to work 24 hours, and that's a huge commitment. Being a firefighter is not just a job or a career, it's a lifestyle. Your family has to adjust to that. You miss birthdays and Christmases and other holidays. Now, you do get plenty of time off. There's another 20 days of the month that you're off, but it just so happens, if you ask my wife, if anything bad happens at the house, it's when I'm at the fire station.
Yeah.
And so it's a lifestyle for the whole family of having to cater to that. And that part of it is what actually turns that network at work to become your second family, because you live with those folks too inside that engine house, and you become very close. You eat your meals together, and you do go out and you do things that is on somebody's worst day, and you go there with that group and you solve their problem, and it's pretty rewarding.
I love it. So I have a bunch of questions, but right now, guys, we want to hear from you all. So we're gonna, pull up the chat, and so just drop in your questions. It's gonna be a live chat. Drop in your questions. Tell us what schools you're from. I know that on the list we have some people from Carver, Tresvant, Germantown, Bartlett, all over Houston. Hi. So drop in your questions. Let us know what high school you're from. Rep your school, and we're gonna continue, talking to firefighter paramedic Zacher, because I have some questions about this wonderful mustache that we have here. Let's go over that.
So every November, traditionally in the fire service, guys grew mustaches. And originally, before we had SCBA and the air tank that you wear on your back, way back when, they would grow very long facial hair, and they would actually dip it in water and then roll it up and stuff it into their mouth and breathe through it to help filter out the smoke. So the mustache became very iconic firefighter. I could probably walk into a grocery store right now in my regular civilian clothes, and people could probably guess what I do for a living because of the mustache. But what we did is years ago we turned that into a fundraising. And over the years, we've had mustache events every November. There's a group of firefighters that help me do it. And it's part of that brotherhood and sisterhood that we all come together, not only at work, but outside of work, for the community. We've raised money for St. Jude, Wings of Memphis, the American Lung Association, Leukemia Lymphoma, even our own firefighters that have been stricken down with an illness and their family needs help. Then we've been able to raise money by growing a mustache and throwing a party. So it's something we do outside of work too.
I love it. So I know that the Memphis Police Department has different units. They do different sports all over the world. They also have their community outreach program. I know you all as well have a community outreach program where you go into schools, and you're also very charitable. Could you talk about outside of that traditional role, what else does the Memphis Fire Department offer that is unique, or that would if I play sports or just something like that would appeal to our...
The Memphis Fire Department, first of all, we're one of the largest fire departments in the country, and a lot of people don't know that either. We have 57 fire stations, and we have close to 1,700 firefighters. And nationwide, we rank somewhere around number 8 of the largest fire departments in the country. And to be something that big, you still have this family feeling, and you work in these fire stations in the community. I worked in Raleigh for a long period of time, and you build a connection with the folks that you are at that fire station inside those neighborhoods, and it becomes a very community oriented thing where you end up going to different community centers. You get invited to come and eat dinners at different places, and so you're not just seeing folks on an emergency basis, but you're interacting with the community outside of those emergencies, and you build trust. And inside of some of the neighborhoods here in Memphis where it's got a bad reputation, you've built trust with that community, and our fire stations are typically open right now. Since COVID's around, we kind of got to lock down a little bit, because as a first responder, if we get sick, then who's going to help the people that are getting sick? Yeah. But what we do is we make that trust with the community, and we pride ourselves on being one of the services for the city that gets top ranked from the community every year. And so as that grows, and we do outreach of different things where we travel around the country and we do stair climbs, and we make sure that Memphis is on the national stage. It's not just here locally, but when we go places, the Memphis Fire Department's recognized with New York and Chicago. We're all at the same table. And we've got people that come here to figure out what it is that Memphis is doing right.
I love that. So some of that Memphis pride, extending out into the world.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a third-generation Memphis firefighter. My grandfather got on the job in 1947 after he came home from World War II, and then my mom met my dad while he was in the Navy, and he's originally from Boston, but My grandfather ended up getting my father on the job, and he got on the job in 1972. So I've grown up around the Memphis Fire Department, and I'm very passionate about it. I love running the streets of Memphis, and what it means to me is it's more than just being a firefighter. Being a Memphis firefighter is an identity.
Yeah, got you. So I see we got a question. We had a question from Tyler. What will the fire cadets do?
All right, so once you get through and get the testing out of the way, then you'll come in, and in that capacity, you will work side by side with a supervisor of any of the different departments. Like Division Chief Ken Newton out at training, who's fantastic. You could work in his department where you could help out with setting up classes and getting classrooms ready and working in the capacity of training. We also have manager Kevin Spratlin that works with Healthcare Navigators, which is another program to it's an outreach for the community of making sure that the right patient's going to the right facility. But inside of that he manages, there's a lot of clerical stuff that needs to be done, and he could use cadets in that capacity. We have a huge logistics department. Inside of logistics, it's a warehouse where all of our supplies come from, and so they'll be asked to get supplies and transport them to the fire stations, and then get to know the firefighters that way by getting them their supplies and working doing that. So there's a whole host of different areas that cadets will be used while they're working their 24 hours and going to school.
So they are going to be working the same 24 hours, or within that same 24 hours?
No, 24 hours. They'll be working 24 hours a week. So, and that'll rotate too, depending on their school schedule. And the goal of it is that they'll all be in the same classroom, so they'll be going to school together and then working together. And sometimes it might rotate depending on their school, but they'll just work 24 hours a week, and then they'll be going to school the other half of that. So it's a paid internship. It's an easy pathway to having a career on the Memphis Fire Department.
So what, $16 an hour, about $16 an hour?
Yeah, I think it's $15 an hour. $15 an hour, getting your education. And then once you become an advanced EMT, that salary will bump because we're putting you actually on an ambulance and you'll be working in an emergency capacity. And then from there, you'll go to paramedic school and the fire academy, and then on up there, then you'll be making $62,225.
$62,000, and you might be a little bit better at that math than me, but I'm looking at around $30 an hour, essentially.
Well, that on an 8-hour,
If we were to break it down
if you did an 8-hour work week, but in that role, we'll be working 56-hour work week. So, but still, the $62,000 is $62,000 at the end of the day. And then also, since you'll have college, you'll be able to apply that for your college incentive. If you get a bachelor's, 7.5% on top of that. You get qualified on 3 different pieces of equipment. You get another 2% on top of that. You earn bonus days. We get paid 13 holidays here for the city of Memphis. And so all of that adds up to you'll be making a lot more than $62,225, and you're working 10 days a month.
Okay, so how long does it take for me to transition from a fire cadet into an EMT? I see Tyler had another question.
It's a 2-year transition school-wise from EMT to being a paramedic. But once you become an advanced EMT, then we'll get you into fire school, and fire school is about 16 weeks.
Okay, so after fire school, will I be paid while I'm in fire school?
Absolutely, you get paid. Your pay will actually increase, and you'll get paid during the fire academy.
Okay.
Because you'll transition from a cadet to a fire recruit.
Okay, and is it, kind of similar to the Memphis Police Department Academy where it's like paramilitary style?
Very paramilitary, absolutely. We pride ourselves on our traditions and respect for it. The truth of fighting fire is it is a dangerous job. End of story. That's one of the reasons why you got to be passionate about it. You need to be passionate about something that can hurt you, that you have to work with. The Fire Academy is designed that way so that you can take orders from a senior person that's on the scene that doesn't necessarily put you in a dangerous situation, but you have to work in a dangerous situation. And you have to be able to trust that. And so the best way to do that is through paramilitary.
Love it. Love it. So can we talk about your most rewarding experience?
You know, there's several. Definitely over my time of being a firefighter here in Memphis. But I had one where I had a 11-year-old that was left alone at home being watched by a 14-year-old. And they decided that they were going to play with a candle, and he was jumping over the candle. He caught his clothes on fire, and he ended up burning a significant amount of body area. We got there, we took care of him, and did what we were supposed to do, followed our protocols, and I got him to Le Bonheur, and then they flew him to Cincinnati. And then I never followed up. I didn't know whatever happened with the child. Well, about a year later, and in all, I honestly, I kind of thought probably not the best outcome for the child because he was so significantly burned. But I was detailed to another fire station. I wasn't working at my one in Raleigh, but the fire phone rang, and they said I had a phone call. I get on the phone, and the guys at my fire station said, "You have a visitor," and they put him on the phone. And he wanted to thank me for saving his life. And that is what you do. And, you know, I was telling you earlier that my grandmother from Boston, I was hanging out with her one time, and I was just now getting into the fire service, and she said, if you work 25 years in the fire service and you only save one life, that's the reason why you work that 24 years, or that 25 years. So, you know, it's very rewarding when you are able to accomplish what you've been trained to do, and to be able to have a positive outcome like that. It's very rewarding, and it makes you get up and go after it again. And I can tell you this, that with my time on the Memphis Fire Department, I've never gotten up out of bed to go to work and have one of those, I gotta go to work today. Yeah. It's always been something that I've looked forward to going to work to go do.
I love it. And guys, again, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. I just have a couple more. Then we're gonna wrap it up and then let you know how you can get in touch with us so you can become a part of this awesome program that we're starting up. But fact check time. You know, I want to debunk a few myths about firefighting.
Yeah, go ahead.
So what I know about firefighting. I know the pole. You know, you go in there. You know, you ring the alarm. Okay, this is just for movies,
right,
guys.
Absolutely.
Just for movies. All right. So you ring the alarm. Everybody jumps up. They go down that pole, and then you get there, and it's a cat in a tree. Like, can I call you to get my cat out of the tree, or is that just in the movies?
I believe you can call for that.
Okay.
I've never gone to that, and we always get this question. So when you're driving around, or next time you're riding around in the car, riding around Memphis, I want you to look in all the trees. And feel free to call me if you find a cat skeleton, because I'm pretty sure all the cats come down once they get stuck in a tree. So somewhere along the way, somebody rescued a cat out of the tree, and then that became a thing. But no, we don't do that now. The pole, I designate different days as all-day pole day. And if I'm upstairs and I got to get downstairs, I take the pole. I don't ever take the stairs. That's one of those things. As a kid, firefighter, pole, I'm taking the pole.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, so cool. I can call you, but you've never done it. You've never seen it. And then the pole is a real thing.
The pole is definitely a real thing. We have several fire stations in Memphis that have poles, and I, for one, use them.
Gotcha. Love it. Okay, so I know you said due to COVID, but aside from our, wonderful virtual tour video, and this is found on our Facebook page, correct?
Correct. It is on Memphis Fire Department Recruitment. You can go on there, and you can also message if you have any questions outside of this. Once you send that message, that'll come to myself and Lieutenant Farr and Deputy Director, Hope Lloyd. It'll go to all of us. We'll be able to see those, and we can answer those questions for you.
Got you. And well, of course, we were waiting on COVID, but typically we can do a tour of the fire station and a ride. Can I ride along?
You can do a ride along. We've kind of slowed that down because of COVID for right now. But once we get through this pandemic, you can. We have a ride along form. You need to be over the age of 18. and you can come and ride for a 12-hour shift, and you can pick the equipment if you want to ride on an ambulance, if that's something that interests you. If you want to ride on a fire truck or a pumper, we can make that happen for you, and you can kind of see how we do. Now, there is a waiver that you have to sign, and you can't, you won't be put in harm's way, and we're not going to put you close to the scene, but you'll be able to ride to go with to fires. We've had a lot of ride-alongs too that'll ride with a battalion chief, because the battalion chief will go to not only fires in that area of town, but he'll have to respond to fires in other areas, and so it gives them a bigger opportunity to go see what it looks like when you're making an apartment fire or a house fire.
Lovely, lovely. So please, guys, utilize that link. So facebook.com/Memphis Fire Recruitment is that URL to find the Facebook page. And then also, because it's a new program, we also have a new way for you to get in contact with us. So if you guys were to text Fire Cadet, that's one word, so Fire Cadet to 484848, you're going to get a link to an interest form, and then we're going to find some more information. We're going to get some more information for you once that website launches. But in the meantime, you can just go to Facebook and then go to that Memphis Fire Recruitment page.
Absolutely.
And then get in contact with, people like firefighter, paramedic, Zacher, and then find more information. But thank you all so much for joining us. I'm really excited about the Blue Path program and the Fire Cadet program, and thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And guys, give us a shout. We can answer questions any time of the day. I've always got my phone on me, and we love bringing in new folks to have the experience in a career that is super rewarding.
Yeah, and especially new folks from Memphis.
Absolutely.
So Memphis serving Memphis. So thank you all so much for joining us. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to either one of us. Go to joinmpd.com to reach out to me and find my information. If you're interested in the Blue Path program, you can text Blue Path to 484848, Fire Cadet to 484848, or go to the Facebook page, Memphis Fire Recruitment, to reach out to people like firefighter, paramedic. Zacher, thank you so much again, and you guys have a great day.